Dear students, this session I am going to explain about classes and object in Java. Okay, so first we have to know what is meant by class. So class is nothing but template of an object. So class is template of an object. What is meant by object? So object is nothing but instance of a class. Object is a instance of a class. So generally class contain two types of members. One is called as data member and another one is called as function member. Okay, so data, or you can contain variables, and these are called as instance variables. Okay, so the data members inside the class is called as instance variables. And then we can have function or methods, and this is called as function members, and this is called as function members. So this data and function together called as members of a class. Members of a class. Okay, so now this you have to represent as a syntax. So it is represented with class. Class is a syntax keyword and followed by class name. And first you are having the data members. So how to represent data? So data can be represented with data type followed by variable name. How to represent the function members? Function members. So how to represent the function member? Functions, you already know that it has a return type followed by function name and then argument list, open curly bracket. So this contains body of the function, and then you have to end with the class. So this is the syntax of class definition. Okay, so now we will see one implementation. So how you have to use a class. Okay, so whenever you have to create a class, we have to follow 3 steps. The first step is class creation or creating a class. Next step is object creation. Next step is object creation. Third step is invoking the members of the class using object. Okay, so whenever we create classes and objects program, so this 3 information should be there. So class creation, object creation, invoking the members of the class using object. Okay, so now we will see how to create a class. Okay, so now I want to create a class called as rectangle. So I am going to create class. My class name is called as rectangle and it has 2 data members. So I have to declare the data members. So first data member is integer length and the second data member is integer breadth. Okay, so 2 data members are ready inside my class. So first step is data members. So I created a class with data members. Now I want to create a function member also. So I am going to create a function member inside the class. This function member I want to do the area calculation. So I am going to do with area calculation. Okay, so you know the formula for area calculation. So the area of a rectangle is length into breadth. Length into breadth. So close the function. So here I started with the open bracket for the class. So I have to close it. Okay. So this is the open bracket for class and this is the closed bracket for the class. So class is ready. So the first step 1 is ready now. Okay. So the step 1, class creation is ready. What is the next step? The next step is object creation. Okay. So I want to create the object for this rectangle class. So for that I need a main program. So I am going to write my main program. Public class sample. Okay. So here I am having my public static void main followed by string args. Okay, you know that every class. So now I am going to store my program with sample.java. This is my class name because this class only having the main method. Okay, so now I have to create the object for the class. The first step is ready. So step 2. So step 2, I want to create the object for the class. So step 2, I want to create object for the class. So how to create the object for the class? So if you want to create object for the class, so this is the syntax. Rectangle, class name, followed by object name equal to new class name. Okay, this is the syntax. So I write with the syntax. So the syntax is class name followed by object name equal to new class name. Okay, this new keyword only plays an important role that will allocate memory for the object. Okay, this new keyword only allocate memory for the object. We already studied this new keyword with our array. Okay, when we created the array also, we created new int of 10. So that time also we used new keyword. Same thing whenever you want to create a class name, object name equal to new class name. So now I created my class. Okay. So this is my next step is over. What is my third step? The third step is accessing the members of the class or invoking the members of the class using object. Okay. So I want to access the members of the class. The first member, data member I want to access. So I am putting r1 dot length is equal to 10. r1 dot breadth is equal to 10. Okay, so length and breadth. So this you can write it like this. So the syntax you can write like this. So you can give like this. Okay, so object name dot variable name, or you can access object name dot method name. Okay, so the dot operator is used to access the members of the class. Dot operator is used to access the members of the class. So I access r1 dot length, r1 dot breadth. So I have assigned the value So now I want to access the function member of the class. So I have to use the R1 dot area calculation. Okay, so R1 dot area calculation. So this is for main and this is for class. So the area is calculated now. So if I want to display the output, I can add a statement here. System dot out dot println the area is. So you have to print the area. Okay, so you can just go through and check it. So whenever we use with classes and object concept, the first step is class creation. So step 1, create the class having a data members and function members. So you can add any number of functions inside your class. The next step is object creation. So in order to create the object, I created a main program. So I created the class name, object name equal to new class name. So this new keyword plays an important role to allocate the memory. Then step 3, you want to invoke the data members and function member of the class. So you have to use with the dot operator to access this members. Okay, so this is the basic of classes and object. So now I will show you what are the things we can do with the objects. Okay, so what will happen when you create an object? So whenever you use the statement rectangle R1 equal to new rectangle. If I write the statement, what will happen? Okay, so this statement only invoke, there is something called as constructor. Okay, constructor to initialize the object. Okay, so whenever you use this statement, it will invoke the constructor to initialize the object. So instead of writing that, I can write like this also, rectangle R1. Then R1 equal to new rectangle. So this way also I can write this way or I can write this way. This is single step or I can write it in 2 step. 2 step means the first step will do the declaration. So what it means that declaration? So when I use this statement, only one memory location is created and that is having a variable R1. That's all. No object allocations are done. Only that variable R1 is created. Variable R1 is created. Okay. But whenever you use the second statement, R1 equal to new rectangle. So that time only you will get a memory allocation. Okay. Memory allocation. How it is done? So memory is allotted for rectangle class. What are the things available in the rectangle class? Length and breadth. And what is the data member available? Length and breadth. What is the function member available? Area calculation. So this time only one memory is allotted for this entire memory is allotted. Memory is allotted for the rectangle class. So already you have your R1 variable. That R1 variable now points to this memory location. Okay, clear? So whenever you use this first statement rectangle R1, only the declaration variable is created or declared. The variable is declared. That's all. So whenever you do with new keyword, whenever you use the new keyword, that time only a memory is allotted. Memory is allotted for the rectangle object, rectangle class, and that will be pointed by the object instance. So R1 is the object instance, so R1 pointing to the memory location of the rectangle. Okay, is it clear? Now I am going to create another one object. Okay, so I am going to create another one object, rectangle R2 equal to new rectangle. Okay, so what happens whenever I create this new object? So inside inside your memory, another object is created. So R2, a variable is created, and another one rectangle object is newly created. Okay, with the fields of length, breadth, area calculation and all. And now R2 is going to point to this new rectangle object. R2 is pointing to the new rectangle object, breadth and area calculation. So now I have two objects in my memory, R1 and R2, both will point to the different memory location. Okay, both will point in the different memory location. This is also using a new keyword. So both will point in the new different locations. So object R1 and object R2 are different. Okay, different. Both will allotted in two different memory location. Two different memory location. Okay, so now I am going to do like this. So I am going to assign the value. I'm going to assign the value R1 dot length is equal to 2. So it will go to the memory location of R1. What is the length? Length it will assign 2. And now I am assigning R1 dot breadth is equal to 2. So R1 object, its breadth is 2. And now I am going to use R2 dot length is equal to 5. So it will go to R2 and that length it will assign 5. Then R2 dot breadth. So that memory location I am assigning 10. So it will go to here and assign 10. So always remember every statement should end up with semicolon. So now I am doing R1 dot area calculation. So this time what happens? So my length is 2, my breadth is 2 for the object R1. So it will do 2 into 2. So your area is 4. When I do with R2 dot area calculation, that time it will go to the R2 object instance, take the length is 5 and the breadth is 10. So the area is 50. I think you clear about creating object with the new keyword. Whenever you create object with a new keyword, it will create new instance of object. Okay. So now we will see another one thing. What happen if I do like this? Okay. So what will happen if I create like this? So now I am going to create rectangle R1 equal to new rectangle. So next I am going to use R1 dot length is equal to 20. R2 dot length is equal to 20. So now you already know that whenever created R1 is declared. Whenever you use new keyword, rectangle object is created. That object contains length, breadth and the area calculation. Okay, area calculation. So now I am assigning length is equal to 20. So length is 20, breadth is equal to 20, breadth is 20. The R1 object is points here. Now I am using a statement rectangle R2 equal to R1. Okay, so I am not using the new keyword, I am using the assignment operator to refer one object to the another object. Okay, so object reference. I am assigning one object to the another object. This case, what happened? It will create only the object R2. It won't allocate new memory location. Okay, it won't create any new memory location. Won't create new memory. Instead of that, R1 wherever it points, R2 also point to the same memory location. Okay, so R1, R2 both will point to the same memory location. Now what happens if I print system.out.println? I am printing what is the value of R1 dot length plus one space. You know about plus operator is a concatenation operator. R2 dot length. So you will get the answer. The answer is 20. R1 dot length is also 20. R2 dot length is also 20. Okay. So now what I am going to do is I am going to change the value of R1 dot length. I am going to change the value of R1 dot length. So I am putting R1 dot length is equal to 100. Immediately it will go here. R1 dot length is previously it is 20. So now what it will do? It will rewrite the value 20 to 100. It will rewrite the value 20 to 100. So now I want to check what is the value of R1 dot length and what is the value of R2 dot length. So I am putting system dot out dot println R1 dot length plus R2 dot length. So now I see the value. If I change the value of R1 dot length is 100, automatically R2 dot length also pointing to the same memory location. So changes made in one variable reflected in the another variable. Okay, so changes made in one variable reflected in another variable. The reason is object R1 and R2 points to same memory location. Both are pointing to the same memory location. So changes made in one variable reflected in another variable. Okay. Suppose you have like this. So I have an object R1. I have an object R2. Both are pointing to the same memory for rectangle. Both are pointing to the same memory for the rectangle. I have used the statement R1 equal to R2. So both are pointing to the same memory location. Now what I am going to do is I am going to put R1 equal to null. R1 equal to null. Okay. So when I give R1 equal to null, what happens? So R1 is null. Okay. So R1 is null means so R1 is removed from that. So R2 alone pointing to the rectangle class. So R1 is null. So the reference of the R1 is removed from the memory. So R2 only still pointing to the object location for the rectangle class. Okay. So the basic is whenever you use to create any class, 3 steps. Okay. Class creation, object creation and invoking the members of the class. Okay, so you can create a class with the data members and function members. Then you create the object with the new keyword. Then followed by using the dot operator, you can access the members of the class. Then the next thing is, there is a difference between creating an object by using the new keyword and by using the equal to operator. Whenever I use with a new keyword, every time a new instance will be created. But whenever you use the equal to operator, both objects will be points to the same memory location. And next thing is, instead of creating in a single line, you can create it with a two-step. So first step is the declaration and the second step is the memory allocation. So while you creating the object, so this step is different and this step is different. So creating rectangle R1 equal to new rectangle and creating rectangle R2 equal to new rectangle. So whenever you use the keyword new instance created, so it will create a new memory location. But when I use with rectangle R3 equal to R2, so it will both points to same memory. Okay, I think you are clear. So you can just go through your textbook also, go through this notes. Okay, thank you.